Hey everyone, this is Meg with another current release game review, and today I'm going to be talking about the PSP port of Corpse Party. Now the story is quite twisty-turny and complicated, so I'm going to try and keep this video as simple and spoiler-free as possible. So yeah, that's what I'm going to share my thoughts on today. The story itself is the most shocking, gory, scary as hell stories I think I've experienced in recent memory. It follows 9 students who unknowingly fluff a ritual called the Sachiko Charm Ritual. And in doing this, they're sucked into a kind of ghost school called Heavenly Host Elementary. And the school that they currently attend was actually built on the foundations of Heavenly Host. And let's just say it's a kind of, I don't want to say overlook of the high school world, but it's pretty scary, hellish place. When they're dragged into this place, the students are separated and we follow them as they try and find each other and find a means of escape. Now I think this story requires quite a lot from the player, namely your imagination, because there aren't any cutscenes per se. Everything's acted out to you via voiceovers and dialogues as opposed to cinematics, and you'll also have little cartoon characters that pop up and little avatars. So yeah, I'd say that it requires a lot from you to almost fill in the blanks. And I also want to add that this story is graphically gory. I don't mean shot in the face gory, I mean scissors in the eyeball, pulverized meat choking on your innards explicit, so you have been warned. In a strange way though, I felt that the lack of cinematics actually benefited the story and made it a lot scarier because it relied on the power of suggestion and wording too, much like a book. Say for example you read a horror book and something just, the way it's written scares you, but if you saw it visually it might not have the same impact. I kind of felt that was the genius of Corpse Party. And they also utilise sound effects a lot, background noises and the music. They use all of these things and the great voice acting to work you up. I mean, there are some scenes that play and the background is just black, it's just a blank screen, there aren't any images, and all you get are the sounds. You can hear the heavy footsteps, you can hear the screams, you can hear the breaking of glass. I've never seen this technique used in other games before unless it's like someone's waking up from unconsciousness. So I thought this technique worked really well. There are a lot of dialogue scenes though, and they increase in length and regularity as the story progresses. So if you don't like any form of cutscene at all, then Corpse Party is definitely not for you. I really liked the dialogues though. I felt that they carried the story and that they were entirely necessary. I also ended up liking all of the characters, and there are a lot in the game. So I think that's quite impressive. I mean, unless you're talking about Uncharted, I mean, I love every character in Uncharted, even if they're villains, but generally, in a cast this large, you end up, some fall to the wayside, but I seem to equally enjoy all of them, and this really added a lot to the horror element of the story because you wanted them to escape. I would say that the game is best played with headphones on high volume, like any horror game really, but more so with this game because it makes the shocking moments and the scary moments just that bit more effective. I mean, with this game story, expect the unexpected, and I mean this completely. Expect to be shocked, expect to be appalled, disgusted, thrilled, saddened. So all in all, I think the story is top-notch. It's well told and it has a bit of everything. It's got a bit of comedy, it's got a bit of mystery, it's got horror, it's got a tiny bit of action. It really does have it all. If you like being able to suspend your disbelief or using your imagination, then I think you'll really find something incredible in the story of Corpse Party. But if you find those things difficult or nigh on impossible, then I wouldn't say this game is for you, especially in the story department. Gameplay is a funny one. It doesn't really revolve around traditional combat, but it has conflict. Then again, every game needs a source of conflict somewhere. You'll play each of the students in pairs or alone, and even though the submissions tend to vary with each character, the ultimate goal will always be the same, and that's to find your friends and ultimately escape. But as the player though, you'll find yourself exploring a lot, looking for suitable routes, picking up useful objects, running for your life, reading scrapbooks, notebooks, newspapers, picking up IDs, just trying to find a way out and make sense of everything. I mean, it sounds pretty simple, right? Wrong! Even though it sounds simple on paper, it's actually very challenging. I found myself spending 2 or 3 hours on each chapter just trying to figure out what it was I was supposed to be doing and what order I was supposed to be doing it in, because trust me when I say order in this game is imperative. I mean, there are several endings. I don't know how many there are, but I know that what ending you get can rely on varying elements and actions that you do or don't do. If you muddle things up in a level, you could also just get a wrong end, which is just a temporary bad ending that will put you through some of the most god-awful sequences. I mentioned before that exploring is quite a big element of gameplay, and another thing that you can do while you're exploring is you will stumble across dead students that have also been trapped there for one reason or another, and they give you their student ID. You'll pick it up from the body, and the more of these you pick up, the more extra chapters will be unlocked in the extras menu. Now, one of these is playable. I haven't gotten very far in it yet. I keep getting a crappy ending. I'm not quite sure what I'm supposed to be doing. The others, though, fill out backstory for the central sort of protagonists that you play, and also the students that were trapped there prior to you. I guess what I want to say about the gameplay is it's very unique, very unconventional. It's not necessarily like a lot of other things out there right now. It's a bit of an adventure title, it's a bit of a survival horror, but you won't be fighting anything. You know, there won't be any weapon wielding. It very much relies on you utilising your environment and finding a way forward. The visuals are two-dimensional, nothing special really. The gameplay graphics are crisp and clear, and colourful too, but they look a bit dated. I think the best thing about the visuals for me were the cartoons, or I can't really say that, the images of the characters, the close-ups. I thought they were really well drawn and they added a lot to the general storyline, but aside from that, I literally don't have that much to say about the graphics. They aren't impressive and they're definitely not flashy. They're sufficient at best, but they don't set the game back, I wouldn't say. It's not like they take anything away from the overall game, but they don't really add anything either. You won't be wowed by them, so don't expect to be. The musical tracks are quite old school sounding, I would say. There's lots of synthesized pieces and it's used very traditionally, i.e. it really is memorable, it sticks in your head. It has a propensity to just replay over and over and over in your mind, and this can be a good and bad thing, depending on what scenario you saw or heard this music in. There are some sad pieces, there's dangerous pieces, scary pieces, there's even a really lovely choir piece at one point in the game, but you won't be able to buy them anywhere. There's, I think, a version of this score on hard copy, but it was released as an obscure extra on a completely unrelated video game special edition, so to find it is practically impossible. And this really bummed me out because I really do love the music very much. I would have liked to have owned it. Good news is though, the main song that will crop up on the intro of the PSP game, sung by Imai Asami, she has released an EP of the song which you can actually buy pretty much anywhere. I know that yes, Asia stocked them. I'm not sure if CD Japan did, but if you're interested and you really love the song, then there's options for you, at least with the theme. Overall though, I really liked the soundtrack in an old school sense because it was really memorable. I can hear a track and place exactly where I heard it and what I was doing when I heard it, and that's a mark of a really great game soundtrack. For me, anyway. All in all, this game has joined the ranks of my favourite games ever. I'm so glad this was my introduction to PSP games and that I went on a whim and bought it. I pat myself on the head for that. Well done, Megan. The story is exceptionally told through really unusual techniques. The gameplay is a nice departure, I think, from the barrage of action shooters we're faced with at the moment. The graphics aren't impressive or particularly exceptional, but it doesn't take anything away from the game, I didn't feel anyway, and the score is really memorable. I adore this game. I mean, it appeals to my personal tastes, it fits me to a T. But if you find it difficult suspending your disbelief or investing yourself in a story, maybe you hate long dialogues or having to use your imagination with a video game, or if you have a sensitive disposition, then I definitely would say don't play Corpse Party. But I guess it's up to you at the end of the day, but I just thought I'd read the warning label, I thought that was wise. So thank you for watching, I hope you enjoyed the video. I will see you all in my next video on Thursday, and I'll be reviewing The Darkness 2. I was going to actually do the review today, but I haven't done, sorry, I'm tying my shoelace. I haven't done the Vendetta section of the game yet, and I thought I'd better experience the whole thing before I actually do a proper review. So yes, that's what you can expect at the end of the week. Thanks again, and I'll see you later. Bye! I hate sitting on the floor like this. My poor ankles can't take it, they're too weak, they're old lady ankles. Oh, I can't feel my foot! It's not even pins and needles, it's just gone dead. Ow! Come back to life, foot. You're dying on me, it's weird. In my Asami, I used to think of wasabi. I don't think I'm saying it right. Grrr. Colourful knee. Soundtrack. Boom. Ah, itchy nose. Stop itching. It appeals to meow. Sounded like a cat. Well, I did say they were my closest animal equivalent. Ooh. Aladdin pants.